Hi, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel, and today I thought I'd just give you a quick tour around Jennie's plot. We think of this plot as the winter allotment, and that's because almost everything that we grow in there is destined for eating in winter. So it's either going to be harvested and stored and eaten in winter, or it's going to be left in the ground and harvested fresh for winter. And one of the benefits of it being the winter allotment is it means there's absolutely minimum work there. We only do in total, the whole family, probably 2 hours on average a week there, because it is very much a kind of plant it, leave it, harvest it kind of allotment. There's very little work required to maintain anything. It's just sort of, plant and forget. So let me show you around. We just popped in these beans. There's a mix here of French beans and runner beans. A bit leggy really, had to tie them in, but they're climbing pretty well now actually, so pretty happy with those. And then this really is the squash bed. We've got mainly crown prints in here, so crown prints down both of the edges, and then down the centre we've got butternut squash. Hurricane is the variety here, and then we've got sweet corn at this end. This is kind of a trial to see how well it does. So in theory sweet corn needs to be planted in blocks. We've planted them in clumps which are not very far away from each other, so I think that this effectively is the same as blocks, but we'll see. I tested this out in the greenhouse with clumps of 5, polytunnel rather, with clumps of 5, and that's worked just fine. Perfect pollination. So we'll see how it works outdoors, and if it works well this year, then we'll extend it to the whole of the bed next year. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. It looks really nice, and hopefully the sweet corn will be pretty big plants by the time the squash kind of reaches them. So there won't be any interference from the squash. The squash will just cover the ground basically and reduce evaporation, which should help the sweet corn. The only issue is that when you plant this densely, it does need more water, of course. That's always the trade-off, but I think it's worth it. The issue here, and the reason we didn't extend it a little bit further, is we just couldn't get any more seeds. So we had a bad batch of seeds that just didn't germinate at all, and that meant that we didn't have enough for the rest of the bed. So in the end we chitted these seeds, which are Incredibles, and every single one germinated. So down this side, well, we've got the rhubarb down there in that corner. We've got apple trees, and there's a lot of apple trees on here. A lot of apples on this tree. And so hopefully a lot of these will drop in June and save us having to thin them out, because obviously there's way too many here. And we've got our little Concord pear, and that had so much blossom on it. There's hardly any pears this year. There was lots last year, and I absolutely love Concord pears, and we don't have that many trees, but I'm kind of pleased actually that we haven't got so many on it this year, because I want the tree to grow rather than spend all its energy giving me pears, so that next year we'll have some spare for everybody else. And then this is our plum tree, Victoria plum tree, and we have never had plums on this allotment, and so finally we've got some on this tree. It's only a young tree too, so I'm really pleased with it. Finally, plums. I love plums. And we've planted about, I don't know, 6 plum trees, so in the hope that we'll actually get an abundance of plums, and it looks like finally we've got some. And then we've got more apples on here. we dry a lot of apples, dehydrate them. They're fantastic. We're still obviously then eating them now, and we've got quite a few still to eat, and I really love them. They're a great snack. So we've got a few currants and autumn fruiting raspberries just at the entrance here. Just snack food really. And then shallots, spring onions and strawberries. But these strawberries are looking very sick. I think it's my fault. I think I just didn't get around to watering them enough last year in summer, and so they just really struggled, and they've never really properly recovered since then. So I think we need some runners and replant them. We normally do our oca in containers, but this time we've decided to try just a few in this bed. This is meant to be the flower border, but oca looks so pretty, kind of serves that purpose. And we're not allowed flowers on the allotment anymore. Whereas these strawberries are much better. We've got shallots again in here, and spring onions again down the centre. And then the broad beans. I've got to say, I'm pretty amazed by these broad beans. We've really packed them in this year, and we still seem to have got a lot of pods, even on the inner ones, and that was kind of the experiment, to see whether we could actually get a good crop, not just off the ones on the edges, which are good, but the ones on this row here. Seems so. And the garlic and the elephant garlic's throwing up its scapes. I was pretty worried about this garlic, but I'm actually quite happy with it now. We'll probably be harvesting this now in 2 or 3 weeks' time. It's starting to yellow. It's looking pretty good though. And then hidden away under here, we've got the brassicas. And some people ask me about brassicas and nets, so I'll just explain that. Basically, we always net where it's convenient on the allotment, and then we take the nets off when the plants kind of push the top of the net up, and that tends to be about August time. And we take it off partly because the plants have outgrown it, but also because we find that at that time it's better to be able to see the plants and manage the plants, and also because we're just harvesting them all the time at that point, and just taking the nets on and off for harvest is just too much hassle. So I think that's pretty much it for Jen's plot. So I enjoyed this quick video, and I'll see you soon.